when I first moved to Swansea in '92, I just thought, I came, as a lot of people do, I came to university here and just fell in love with the place. Back in the day, I was one of the founder members of what was then the Swansea School of Samba, so that was in my university years as well, and became Samba Tawi later on. I was looking for work and there was an advert to become a fundraiser, organiser and advocate for Circus Eruption, and I thought, I think I can do that. I want people to know that they can be involved, whatever that means for them. Hello.
Hi Karen, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You popped in earlier, didn't you?
I did, but it was just because I was trying to find a way to do my video and make sure that my background was all right and you could see do you know what I mean?
Good.
And then I worked out that I could just start my own. So
Introduce yourself, say who you are, what you do.
I'm Karen, I work for Circus Eruption. I grew up in a town between Reading, Basingstoke and Newbury, and it's called Tadley. And it's miles and miles away from the nearest beach. And when I first moved to Swansea in '92, I just thought, I came, as a lot of people do, I came to university here and just fell in love with the place. For me, it felt like being on holiday all the time. I lived opposite the beach. I was back in the day, I was one of the founder members of what was then the Swansea School of Samba, so that was in my university years as well, became Samba Tawi later on. And Circus Eruption was a brand new project then, and I ended up volunteering on it for a year in the early 90s as a student. And after university, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I wanted to stay in Swansea. That was my main thing. So I got a job as a support worker with people with learning disabilities. In 2015, there was an advert. I was looking for work and there was an advert to become a fundraiser, organiser and advocate for Circus Eruption, and I thought, I think I can do that. I've got other skills now, and remembered my year of volunteering with Eruption as a student very fondly. So I thought, I think I could bring something to that. And so I applied and got the job.
I didn't realise that your history with Eruption went that far back.
Yeah, but I wasn't a core crucial volunteer. I didn't have any circus skills then. I have very few circus skills now.
So what led you to get involved with Eruption at the very beginning?
Absolutely the volunteering, yeah. And it was the fact that I'd worked a little bit, I volunteered a little bit with projects that included people who had statements or labels of disability, when I was a bit younger at home, and I was interested to do that again, really. So circus made sense.
So how have you seen Circus Eruption change and evolve over the years?
To be honest, that core value of bringing together people who face challenges and at that time and continue in its statements and labels of disability, and those who don't face those challenges, is wonderfully exactly the same. I think it was probably ahead of its time 30 years ago, and almost 30 years ago, and is as important now as it ever was, if not more so.
So what are the new plans at the moment then?
Oh gosh. So we've got a new building, and that's incredible. Basically, we needed a big room to run our circus work, and one where we didn't have to keep moving. We've moved loads of times over the last few years, and circus was, in the sort of past 10 or 15 years, was evolving anyway, and we were starting to do a lot more outreach work and a lot more work in the community. And we needed a place to base ourselves, and we ended up, as a lot of people say to me, oh yeah, you're in the old JJB Sports, or you're in that the old PC World next to Smith's Toys, and we were but basically they were charity lets, and they were amazing because being in those charity let properties helped us to develop what we do and actually open it up to a lot more people. So in that, we were really looking for a place of our own, and eventually, it is quite a long story. If anyone's got a spare afternoon, I don't mind telling you about it, but we eventually bought the former St Luke's in Kumbulla,
So you've got quite a strong vision for that building and what it's going to become, isn't it? So what's the dream for that particular building?
I think the dream is really that it becomes a place for everyone, where it's known as a place of welcome and a place where people can become, really be part of something and become more confident, more resilient, and find their place if that's what they want to do. The essence of Eruption has always been that we bring people together, people who are facing particular challenges, together with people who don't, or with people who face different challenges, and together, they can support each other, raise confidence. We use Circus to do that, and for the last almost 30 years we have used Circus to do that. But we have a big building now. We have 2 quite substantial spaces, one of which we're developing now to get into as soon as we can, and the other one which is needs a little bit more work, and is an unwritten story at the moment. We don't know exactly what's going to go in there. We're exploring various avenues and things that we could do. I want people to know that they can be involved, whatever that means for them, whether that means that they need a bit more fun in their lives, they want to be part of something, they want to contribute to how the building changes, or they have something to bring in terms of joining their business up with us in some ways, or supporting us financially or volunteering or whatever, that there is a place for them at Eruption. One thing we've been thinking about for quite a long time is how to encourage people who might have known us in the past, or who we might be working with now, who would like to support us, because what we do is free at the point of use. So we had this idea to create a thing called The Crowd, where it's basically anyone who is part of supporting Circus Eruption, who comes to our sessions, or who is a volunteer, or who gives us a bit of financial support every month. We don't have at all many people who give us money every month, and we're looking to expand that. So if anyone would like to do that, it's going to become a thing, and we're going to call it The Crowd. It's like a Friends of Circus Eruption sort of club, really.
For someone who's come from outside of Swansea and has chosen not only to stay and work, but to make your home and create your family here, what are your thoughts about Swansea? Where do you see Swansea heading? What are your hopes?
You're never that many degrees away from anyone, are you? Do you know, we are small enough as a city, and I think as a nation as well, really, that connection is straightforward. Connection is welcomed as well. I think that was one of the things that I've always loved about Swansea and Wales, is that becoming part of something, becoming part of a city, becoming part of an organisation, become being welcomed into the nation as well, I've found is relatively straightforward, and that's been my experience. It's quite easy to get to know people in some ways. The communities are the communities of interest, the local communities, people are welcomed, I think, and that in itself can be a great catalyst for positive change.
It's interesting, because here are you who is a perfect illustration of what students bring to the city of Swansea, because not all of them disappear, and you've come here and you're putting your skills, your passion to work for the benefit of the communities in Swansea. So what is your perspective on the role that students fulfill within the city?
Well, apart from anything else, I mean, from my personal perspective, that's one thing that we often say. I think when I was in university, there was some statistic going around, you never know if these things are real, but there was some statistic going around saying Swansea University had the highest rate of students actually staying to live in the city. Students can and do put an awful lot into our communities. There is that route through Discovery student volunteering. Loads of them get involved in volunteering outside of that as well, and they're a fantastic part of us and always have been.
If anybody wants to get in touch with Karen and Circus Eruption, what's the web address? What's the email address?
Our website is www.circuseruption.co.uk, and if you hit /gallery, there's a few videos on there where our young people are speaking for themselves, and where you can see a little bit more about what we do. Also, we've got a presence on Facebook and Twitter. You can get in touch with us there, or contact@circuseruption.co.uk is my email.
Your enthusiasm combined with your seemingly boundless energy is always refreshing. So thank you very much for joining us for this conversation, and I look forward to seeing you in real life again soon.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you so much.